What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back today, and today we have our college sports analyst, Ty Smith. Say hello to everybody, Ty.
What's up, guys? Ty here.
He's going to be joining us and covering all college sports, mostly college football and basketball as we get into that. But today we're going to be looking at week 2 football of. And Ty, would you like to just get right into it?
Let's do it. Oh boy, got to start at this one, I guess. But I thought this one was going to be close going into the season, and then I watched both these teams play last week, and I don't think so anymore. I think that line 14 and a half seems pretty big. I think Ohio State's probably going to cover that just because Oregon looked pretty bad last week on both sides of the ball. Their best defender, Thibodeau, number one NFL prospect, is not even supposed to play in this game. So I think Ohio State's going to win. We'll say 45-24.
I agree. And then obviously Stroud played pretty good last week against Minnesota. They had a slow first half, but I guess new quarterback, new system, and then the second half really showed that Ohio State's just going to try to run it back again this year. All right, so this game, I think this game's kind of flying a little bit under the radar. Joe Milton at the quarterback position for Tennessee, and then Pittsburgh is kind of a surprise team, maybe in the ACC. They could give Clemson a run for their money. But either way, this is a big game for both of these teams. The line's Pitt's favorite, even though they're away. But I'm taking Tennessee just because of Milton, new quarterback or new coach as well. And I just think it's going to be tough to go into an SEC stadium. Why are you taking Pittsburgh here?
Oh, well, you already said one of the reasons, Joe Milton. As a Michigan fan watching him last year, he has the talent, but it just doesn't really show up on the field. So I think he's going to struggle in this game. And our good friend Max, who plays for UMass, got me to watch them play Pitt last week, and Pitt looked pretty good. They have Kenny Pickett, an NFL quarterback. So I think they'll go in there and win the game. I think it will be pretty close, though. Tennessee might even cover.
All right, now we do have to talk
Oh,
about
boy.
this game because all our state fans out there, it'd be disrespectful if we didn't talk about that. But I couldn't find the line or the over under on ESPN, so I'm just putting NA. But obviously, you and me are both taking state here. They
Yeah.
looked pretty good last week against Northwestern and Youngstown State. I didn't even know, is this team D1 like FBS?
I know their mascot is the Penguins. I don't know why I know that. That's all I know about them. So I'm going to say Michigan State's going to win pretty big.
Yeah, considering we don't know much about the school, isn't really going well for them. So state's gonna win big.
Yep.
All right, my school here, USF, they were terrible, 45-0. They lost last week to NC State on the road. So now they're getting a ranked opponent, SEC opponent at home, and they're getting 28 and a half, and I think that's too little. It needs to be at least 35. So I'm going Florida. Obviously, you're going Florida here too because the line's huge. But I think this is a lock too. USF is going to probably go 0-2 and maybe score a total of 3 points in 2 games. Give me a long year.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people that like to take the line on these big lines, take the underdog. I would not do that on this game. I think Florida's going to win by 40, maybe even 50.
All right, you want to talk about Notre Dame here?
Oh boy, second game of the year. Notre Dame likes to struggle in these games. They usually play a solid team their first game and then play one of these games, game 2, and they usually get off to a slow start in these games. Toledo, usually pretty solid in the MAC, but I mean, there's no way Notre Dame's losing this game or there'd be a dumpster fire in South Bend. But I think it will be kind of close, but 17 for a line seems pretty small. So I think they'll still cover that. Let's say 35-13.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I actually was looking at it on Monday when they first got released, and the line was at 19 and a half. So actually, the lines went down a few. So obviously, all you bettors out there, if you want to take that, now's the time to do it while it's going down. So
Yeah.
next, we got, I think, a very
Ooh.
a very underrated game here. I think Texas A&M is going to go into Colorado and struggle. Um, that's why I'm taking Colorado. I know you're taking Texas A&M, but I don't think Texas A&M is going to be able to score as much as they did last week. I don't know. I just had that gut feeling that I think there's going to be an upset brewing, an upset early. There always is one. And I think this might be the game because Colorado is a tough place to go in and play. And Texas A&M has kind of been that team in the last few years that like you don't know what you're going to get out of them. So that's my reason on it. But obviously, you're going Texas A&M, and why are you taking them?
I've been pretty high on Texas A&M this year, although they didn't look super great last week like I thought they would. But I'm not a huge Colorado guy. Obviously, they lost Mel Tucker to Michigan State 2 years ago. And 17, though, I would definitely take Colorado on the line. 17 points at home. I think that's definitely way too high for the line, but I do think Texas A&M has a lot of talent. They showed that last year. They just got to get the quarterback play figured out, and I think they could compete with anyone. So I think they'll win by about 10.
All right, now we got potentially game of the week, early game of the year candidate. I'm going to Iowa, representing the Big Ten, and you're going to Iowa State. Let's start with you. Why are you going with Iowa State here?
Oh boy. So as Michigan fans, we know how the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry has been going lately. It's the same story in this one. Iowa's won 4 in a row. Matt Campbell is a great coach for Iowa State. That's his only thing he hasn't done is beat Iowa. And I think Iowa State has so much riding on it this year. They're top 10. I think this year they have to do it. I mean, they have no option this year. I think it's going to be a really low scoring game, probably even under that 46, even though that's pretty low. But like I said, I just think they have to win this game. There's no option for them. They've lost some heartbreakers to Iowa lately. I think they're due. So I think they'll win a 1 or 2 point game-winning field goal kind of thing.
I'm going with Iowa because that dominant performance last week against Indiana. I know it was at home, week 1, but I was kind of high going into this year just because Penix Jr. and what he showed last year before he got hurt. I was really high on them, and then all of a sudden Iowa just completely blows them out. And just Iowa is always a team that flies under the radar, especially when they're good like they are this year apparently. And they might sneak into that Big Ten championship game. You never know. If they win this, I mean, they're gonna be their confidence is gonna be an all-time high. So I'd watch out if Iowa wins this game and they get hot. All right, I'll let you talk about your school here.
Oh boy. So coming off a butt kicking from Michigan last week, which I did think Western would compete a little bit better than they did. Then they go to Pitt next week. So this could be a game they kind of overlook a little bit. But with their offense, Caleb Ellaby, quarterback, coming back, probably the best quarterback in the MAC. So I think they'll put up a lot of points. Shouldn't have any problem here. We'll say 49-14. Don't know anything about Illinois State, but can't be very good.
All right, so we're gonna go to the 7:00 ESPN game here. We got 13 Texas on the road going into Arkansas, SEC. I think this game is gonna be a close one, but I think Texas just has the big game advantage here. They're known for letting teams hang around, but normally they do get it done at the end of the day. But I think Texas will pull away late, and I think the line is pretty fair. I think it'll be a 1-score in between, maybe a little over a 1-score game to Texas. And what do you think about that?
If Texas didn't look so good last week, I might have considered taking Arkansas. Just Texas likes to play well week 1, say they're back for no reason, and then choke the next week. We've seen that plenty of times, but I'm not very high on Arkansas. They're still coming off a 2-10 season 2 years ago, so they still have a lot of building up to do. So I think they'll compete for a little while, but Texas will pull away at the end.
I threw this game in here because NC State won 45-0 last week, and Mississippi State. I think they're a team in the SEC too that could be good by the end of the year. And this is one of those another underrated game of the weeks. It's on ESPN too, so if all you guys want to watch it, just potential good game. Neither team are ranked. I see you took Mississippi State here, and I took NC State. Why are you taking Mississippi State here?
Oh, the ACC last week to me, other than NC State, I guess, but they played South Florida, who's not great. The ACC looked pretty bad last week, took a lot of bad losses, and I don't know, going into SEC country, and Mississippi State's not an easy place to play, especially at night. So, I mean, I just think I had a gut feeling that the SEC is going to pull this one out. Probably this one I could see almost going overtime and being a really close game at the end, but I don't think NC State has enough to win an SEC night game on the road.
Obviously, Mississippi State is an SEC school, and everyone's there all the time. But I think NC State is gonna get that. They still haven't let up a point this year, and I think they're gonna carry that in. The defense is gonna be confident, and I think it's gonna be a low-scoring game, or I could be completely wrong, and it could be like 40-38 or something. But either way, I think it's going to be a good game to watch, and I think this game is probably one of the tougher games for us to pick this week.
Come on.
Uh-oh. There we go. All right. I'll let you talk about it since you were there last week.
Yeah, I'll be there this weekend, and I'm pretty confident in this game. I was not sure at all going into the season. Michigan looked pretty good against Western last week, did what they needed to do. And then the main thing for me this game is how Washington looked last week, losing to Montana. So honestly, I think the line at 7 is a bit low here. I think Michigan's going to win by 14, maybe 27-13. I just think Washington, from what I saw, they can't move the ball at all really on offense. They scored 7 points on Montana with like 200 yards. And I'm pretty impressed with Michigan's defense so far. So I don't see Washington really getting anything going on offense. So Michigan should coast to a win here.
I agree with everything you said. I think the game will be a little more high scoring. Western, obviously, they have good quarterback and stuff, but obviously it's no Power 5 conference. So I think Washington has some more skilled players. So the defense will be a little more potentially give up a big play here and there. So, I mean, Michigan will win this game, but it's just going to be a matter of how much will they win by, rather if they're going to win. And for the last game here, we got Utah going into BYU, and I think this could be an upset here. I am going with Utah, though, just because they're a ranked team. Going into BYU, a non-Power 5 team, but potentially could be a Power 5 team here in the upcoming years. I don't know. I just went with Utah because I feel like it's a safe pick. What about you?
This one was a really hard one for me because it's a rivalry game. Usually goes either way, but the home team, I believe, wins a lot of these matchups. But BYU lost a lot from last year, mainly Zach Wilson. So I don't know. I just don't think they have enough to compete with Utah. Utah's always pretty solid, but I don't know. I could have seen this one going either way. I think Utah pulls it out in the end, just barely.
All right, that'll conclude it for today's video. So Ty and I, we did picks at the bottom of the screen, as you can see here. So each week I'm going to be posting the result of what we did last week and what picks we got right and wrong. And we will be competing throughout the year to see who does better. And on that note, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll put Ty's info if you want to go follow him and give him some love in the community. But thanks for watching, and Bench Buddies are out.
Go Blue.
She never called back.